Hello everyone, welcome to another learning session. Before we get started, I have a few quick corrections to make in the presentation, and the presentation corrections you already know. Microsoft renamed some of their products. Most of the security products now come under an umbrella called Microsoft Entra. So my question for you is, in our last discussion, we discussed Azure AD was renamed to Microsoft Entra ID. So, what is the new name for Azure AD Tenant? So, I've got one answer in the chat that it is a Microsoft Entra ID Tenant. So, anybody want to share their opinion or knowledge about what Microsoft calls Azure AD Tenant right now? Okay, Microsoft Entra ID is the name for Azure AD. What is the name for Azure AD Tenant? I'm not entering that ID or not ID here, since I am waiting for answers from you. I'm just entering Microsoft Entra tenant now. If you say Microsoft Entra ID tenant, then I will update it accordingly. So this is our first session. I will formally start, and then I'll make sure all of you, if you attend these sessions, right? If you attend these fundamental sessions, all of you, irrespective of what is your current Azure knowledge, you will be very ready for Azure fundamental certification, and then you will be very ready for all of your future Azure cloud learnings. So, how many of you are attending this session for the first time? So, if you are attending for the first time, then you can say F. If you attended the last two or one of those sessions, you can just mention L also. We have few people who are attending for first time. So now tell me, today we are going to start with Azure Cloud Fundamentals, right? So is it going to be a module 1 or a module 2 of Azure Fundamentals certification? Yeah. So even if it is going to be the first session for Azure, it is actually going to be module 2, because module 1 has nothing to do with Azure. Azure Cloud Fundamental Certification is a 900. Module 1 has nothing to do with Azure. Surprising? So whatever we learn cloud fundamentals, it is good to know before learning about cloud, but it is not a prerequisite so that you don't have to attend today's session. You can attend them after this session also. So now coming back to our renaming thing. So tell me, Azure Active Directory. One more time, tell me Azure Active Directory. What is the new name that is going to be here? Is it going to be Azure Active Directory itself, or is it going to be Entra ID, or is it going to be simply Entra, or is it going to be Entra Tenant? Make your guess.
Might be Entra ID.
Okay, so it will be Microsoft Entra ID. What will be the second one? Azure Active Directory B2C. So participate in this simple fun exercise also, so that you will not forget these names easily. And moreover, you need to be always aware that you could see both Azure AD and Entra ID, or Entra Tenant and Azure AD Tenant, all these things in documentation still. So Entra Tenant, previously it was Azure AD Tenant, and Microsoft Entra ID, which is Azure AD. So last question, and then we can get started. So most of you said Azure Active Directory is now Microsoft Entra ID. So what will be Azure AD B2C now? Azure Active Directory is, everybody said, okay, it is Microsoft Entra ID. What is Azure Active Directory B2C now? Many of you have mentioned Microsoft Entra ID B2C, Microsoft Entra B2C. The interesting thing is Microsoft is yet to rename Azure AD B2C. It is still called as Azure AD B2C, at least in the portal. And again, so you might feel like, okay, I have made spelling mistakes here and there. So I'm not going to correct everything. I just wanted to point you to the fact that, okay, even in documentation, there could be some places it could be Azure AD, some places it could be Microsoft Entra ID, Microsoft Entra Tenant. Some places it could be Microsoft Entra ID Tenant. So quickly, let me show you from the portal itself before we start, so that you will not have any confusion at all. You will not feel like, okay, I'm making something up. Okay, so if you go to manage tenants, okay, so here Microsoft has mentioned Azure Active Directory is now Microsoft Entra ID, and then if you want, you can read through all these things. If you go here and if you click on manage tenants, you'll see this again. And if you click on create, you'll see Azure AD is replaced to Microsoft Entra ID, but Azure AD B2C is still yet to replace. Okay, so it is interesting. So you could see this and that there and here, but don't worry, we are going to learn about this thing. Either it is called Azure AD or it is Entra. Let us learn it well. Okay, so are you ready to get started with Azure?